Hey everyone, and welcome to day 4 of my 12 days of anime videos. Today I'm going to be talking about manga simulpublishing, which is a big thing and has really gained popularity this year. And I'm mainly talking about this topic today because on the 17th, which is today, if I get my posting right, Viz is actually changing the entirety of their weekly Shonen Jump app to more accurately reflect and cater to the market of people who want simulpublished manga. So if you're unaware, Viz does have a legal release of various chapters of their series that comes out every week, translated, available for, I think it's for like almost $4 or around $4 per month. That was the old system. You got a magazine every week with all the newest chapters of things like One Piece, of course, but My Hero Academia, Food Wars, Promised Neverland, a bunch of other titles. I know that Blue Exorcist is a monthly release, so it comes out once every 4 magazines, and you would have access to that content through that time. So if you remember, you had all of the chapters from the point that you joined, and I think it's 8 weeks previously, and then anything in the future. But if you weren't up to date, if you hadn't caught up, if the gap between what you had read between your books and what was currently being put out was too large, there wasn't really any option to catch up on things. And so the service was good if you were already up to date and you're wanting to follow new series, but yeah, it wasn't perfect. Today, December 17th, all of that changed, and it was big news. I'm sure most of you guys heard it, that Viz is actually changing their system so that instead of having a magazine with all of these chapters collated and just put out, instead they're offering every single chapter downloads within the app. So you have the option to just read the things that you want. And all of the chapters of all of the most recent releases, so the newest chapter of One Piece, of Dr. Stone, of whatever you're reading, is free for everyone. And that's regardless of whether you're paying for it, it's just free. That, and I think the previous 2 or 3 chapters is all free. In addition to this, for $1.99 per month, so half of what the current, I guess, membership price is, you have access to the entirety of their back catalog. So over 10,000 chapters available for so many different series, both ongoing and finished, and including or joining their simulpublishing line is Haikyuu, which I think would be the main one that most people are interested in, as well as like the newest stuff coming out in Jump right now. It's super exciting, and for me, as I said, I maybe haven't mentioned this, but I'm a fairly new person to be using Shonen Jump. I've had it the last couple months because I wanted to read it for Hunter x Hunter, which was off of hiatus. It's now currently back on hiatus, but that was why I had my membership. And there was a lot of other series that I wanted to follow, things like Promised Neverland, Dr. Stone, My Hero Academia, and Blue Exorcist, and I feel like there's something else as well. But unfortunately, the gap between what I had read legally and what was available, I couldn't really catch up. My Hero Academia was something like 70 chapters. Dr. Stone, I haven't even started, and they're on like chapter 70 something, so no hope for me there. Promised Neverland, that was the other one. I've read like 7 to 10 something chapters, and now again they're like way ahead, so no hope for me there either to really catch up, unless I wanted to go to illegal scans, which I don't want to do, obviously, because I like supporting the industry and the creators and the people who allow this or make this content available to Western audiences. So this is a huge change. It's fantastic. It gives everyone this opportunity to read and catch up on so many wonderful series. I'm really looking forward to Haikyuu, as I said. My Hero Academia, I can actually catch up to where they're at currently. I was already using it because they had sort of phased it in with a couple series. They were already doing that with some of the newer chapters of of Haikyuu before the new volume would come out. So they'd have a couple chapters there for free that you could read. And they have been doing it for the full series of My Hero Academia Vigilantes, which is a series that I was reading via that. They had Boys Over Flowers, the sequel series that is running, and a couple other things I can't really remember. I didn't pay too much attention. But I find that this new structure of being able to just download and read the chapters that you want is much better than having to download the whole magazine, and then you might not even read 80% of it because you're not up to date or the series doesn't interest you or whatever. Plus, when you do have this program or this membership or whatever, when you're on the app, you can download up to 100 chapters every single day. That's a huge amount of content, and really I don't think anyone's getting through 100 chapters of manga in a day. That's effort. That's like a lot of effort if you are. But that means that if you are 100 chapters behind on My Hero Academia or whatever it is, you can catch up in one day without any limits. You don't have to worry about it. It's really, really cool, and it's absolutely, in my opinion, going to change how people consume manga, especially for people in English-speaking countries, because obviously that is where Viz's availability is right now, in the US and Canada and the UK and Australia and some parts of Asia as well. I know Singapore and I think the Philippines and South Africa. A lot of different places, not so much Europe, but where they have availability right now will really help move English manga fans away from scans, especially for major shonen titles, and more towards these legal options, because really they're there for free. You can't argue freedom. It's really kneecapping, I think, what this scanlation sort of culture that I think a lot of young manga fans especially fall into, because, well, it's free and it's there, and this way it's there, it's free, you know it's actually supporting the industry, you're not giving clicks or ad revenue to pirates and bootlegging sites. It's just much more wonderful, and being able to actually support these licensing companies and these creators directly means that you're helping other titles to find their way into print and to find their way into being licensed. It's a really, really smart move, and I'm honest, it's unbelievable. This never would have happened, 5 years ago. I don't think we had the understanding of technology or anything, the understanding of the market and how it was going to be used, and the feasibility of this type of program wouldn't necessarily have been possible. But it's just, wow, it's honestly crazy. In addition to that, for many people, you might not know that Crunchyroll already has a simulpublishing service with lots and lots and lots of really popular Kodansha titles, as well as some titles that haven't even gotten a print release yet, or print release full stop. If you have a Crunchyroll membership, I believe it's just part of your anime membership as well. You have the option for the manga app, which I use on my tablet, so I keep up to date with so many Kodansha releases, and Vertical, of course, because they're one and the same. I hit the tripod. But things like Attack on Titan, I'm sure is probably the most like popular, most well-known one of those that people would be interested in. But things also like Seven Deadly Sins is on there, Space Brothers, which is the series I enjoy and is not one that's probably ever going to find its way to print anytime soon. There's also Our Precious Conversations, which is done by Robiko, who does My Little Monster. There's also Samura from Blade of the Immortals' most recent work, Wave Listen to Me, which is phenomenal. Like, absolutely highly recommend that one. Devil's Line, which is one of my favorite ongoing series and is ending really soon. They used to have almost all of Princess Jellyfish on there, as well as I think they have all of Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer, which is a series that's, I believe, like out of print, or like a couple of volumes are out of print, so it's really hard to get physical copies. And if you don't know anything about the series, that's a good option to read it if you are curious about it, rather than, you know, putting down a huge amount of money just to get books. There's other things as well. There's our To Your Eternity, which is obviously a really popular new work by Oima of A Silent Voice, and one that I would recommend to everyone. And that one comes out weekly, so it's really great to stay up to date with that one. Heroic Legend of Arslan is another series, in Ajin as well. There's so many things that are available there, as well as other titles that I haven't even started yet that don't have, I think, like a proper license with like a actual manga publisher like Yen Press or Kodansha or whatever. So it's really like, it's cool that we have this option, but I don't know how many people use it because I don't really hear many people talk about it. And over the past year, Crunchyroll really has expanded their library, especially with all of these Kodansha titles, and there's a lot more new stuff. They have added some titles in the last couple months that I haven't even looked at yet. It's just really, really, really nice, especially if you are, again, a manga collector who follows series, and they have, not every series has all of the chapters, especially if books and ebooks have been out for a long time. So there might only be from like chapter 24 to however many chapters are out, but it does mean that, like, sure, you have to buy the first book or the, like, on Kindle or whatever, but then you can just pick up straight where you are, and there's a huge chunk of it available. And there are a lot of series that do have all of the chapters available. So it's a really cool option, and one that, because, you know, streaming services have obviously gained a huge amount of popularity thanks to Netflix, and of course Crunchyroll is the go-to when you think of that for an anime service. Funimation also has theirs, and Sentai also has theirs. Here in Australia, we also have another one, which is Madman, one of our licensors' streaming service. And Amazon as well has sort of properly entered the anime market. So it's a little bit inevitable that we are getting like a subscription or like a immediate turnover for manga, especially because most manga does come out weekly and people want the newest stuff and can consume it quite quickly. It's an interesting trend, and I'm glad that we've gotten to this point that you can still support legal releases without necessarily having to buy a library worth of books, especially if you don't know anything about the series that you're wanting to try. So for those to where it's available and you are a fan of shonen or Viz or Shonen Jump titles, I highly, highly encourage you to jump on this incredible new thing that Viz is doing with the weekly Shonen Jump app. Everyone else, I'm pretty sure Crunchyroll's manga is available everywhere that Crunchyroll is available. So if you are wanting to try out some Kodansha releases, especially Kodansha and vertical stuff, I would recommend that service as well, especially even if you're buying the books and you just want to stay up to date. It's a really, really, really great option rather than, keeping up to date with the scans, because that doesn't help anyone, and really it's not a good practice to get into with this, reading and consuming other people's hard work just because you don't want to pay a small, real fraction, tiny amount of money to support a digital release. So, there's some really, really interesting changes in manga, both physical and digital, this year. And let me know your opinions on this new move by Viz, whether or not you're using the Crunchyroll manga app or not, and what this might mean for the future, whether or not other publishers might start this too. Yen already does have like a chapter release digital thing for a lot of their series, like Black Butler and Case Study of Vanitas and some other stuff that I don't really know. So there is other moves going on in the community, but Viz's new program with like all the back catalog being free and this very low monthly subscription is really sort of unheard of, and it's a really nice trend. Let me know. I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Bye till then.